Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what really goes into great design. We're going to break down how those amazing digital products we love are actually made and hopefully turn what seems like magic into a clear, understandable process you can use yourself. I mean, just think about the apps on your phone, right? Some of them are so easy, so intuitive, it's like they can read your mind. And then there are the others, the ones that are so frustrating, you literally want to throw your phone across the room. So what's the difference? Well, that feeling, whether it's pure joy or just mind-numbing frustration, it is absolutely not an accident. It is the direct result of a very deliberate, very thoughtful design process. Great experiences aren't just found, they're engineered. And today, we're going to explore that process through three really powerful lenses. We'll kick things off with the mindset, design thinking. Then, we'll map out the actual blueprint with the 5 elements of UX. And finally, we'll see how to put ideas to the test with design sprints. By the end of this, you'll have a whole new toolkit for how you think about design. All right, first up, the philosophy. Before we even dream of building anything, we need to have the right mindset. And in today's world, that mindset is all about design thinking. So what is design thinking, really? Well, it's not some rigid step-by-step formula. It's more of a creative, solution-focused way of looking at messy, complicated problems. But here's the #1 rule, the most important part. It always starts with understanding people and their needs. This 5-stage model, which got really popular thanks to Stanford's D School, gives us a kind of roadmap. You can't solve a problem you don't truly understand, so you start with empathy. Once you get the person, then you can define their real problem. Only after that do you ideate, brainstorm solutions, build a simple prototype to make the idea real, and finally test it with actual humans to see if you're on the right track. And this is where that defined stage is so critical. A typical business goal might be something like increase our market share by 5%. Fine, but design thinking forces you to reframe that into a human problem, like teenage girls need to eat nutritious food to be healthy. See that shift? When you solve the human need, that's what ends up driving the business success. But hey, don't think of this as a strict one-way street you have to follow. The real power here is just how flexible it is. These stages are meant to be iterative. You might test a prototype and realize, whoa, we need to go all the way back and empathize some more. It's this constant loop of learning, refining, and making things better. Okay, so we've got the mindset down, but how do we actually get from a fuzzy idea to a real polished product? For that, we're going to need a blueprint. And that blueprint is the 5 elements of user experience. That's right, there are 5 of them. A pioneer in this space, Jesse James Garrett, he came up with this idea of the user experience being 5 distinct layers, where each one builds right on top of the one before it. The whole thing just flows so logically, building from the ground up. You start with the most abstract layer, the strategy, and you get more and more concrete with each step, all the way up to the final visual design, the surface. The key thing is that every decision you make in one layer is guided by the one right below it. Let's make this concrete. Imagine we're building a gym app for booking classes. At the bottom, the strategy plane, we align a user need, I need class reminders, with a business goal, like reducing no-shows. For scope, we decide what features it's going to have, maybe class filtering or trainer bios. For structure, we map out the flow. What happens when you tap book? The skeleton is the layout. Let's put a big Book Now button right where people can see it. And finally, the surface is what it looks like, the bold fonts, the energetic colors. See? Each step builds on the last one. So, we have the mindset and we have the blueprint. But how do we move fast? How do we stop ourselves from spending months building a thing nobody actually wants? Well, that brings us to our final lens, the race. And for that, we have the design sprint. This concept, which came out of Google Ventures, is the super focused 5-day process. And what's the goal? To just shortcut all the endless debates and to compress months and months of work into one single, really intense week. It is all about getting from a problem to a tested solution incredibly fast. The week is super structured, with a clear mission for each day. Monday is all about understanding the problem from every possible angle. Tuesday, the team just sketches out a ton of potential solutions. Wednesday is decision day. You pick the best idea. Thursday is all about building a realistic but quick prototype. And Friday is the moment of truth. You test it with real users. So back to our gym app. On Monday, the team agrees booking classes is way too hard. Tuesday, they sketch out some ideas. On Wednesday, they vote to prototype just a simple booking flow. Thursday, they build a clickable version. And on Friday, they put it in front of 5 gym members. And the results? People loved the one-click booking, but they gave this crucial piece of feedback. They want SMS alerts, not emails. In just 1 week, the team has a validated idea and knows exactly what to improve. So we've looked at 3 pretty powerful frameworks. Now the question is, how do they all fit together? Let's go ahead and assemble our new designer toolkit. The most important thing here is to see these not as competing ideas, but as tools that work together. Design thinking, that's your philosophy, that's your why. The 5 elements, that's your structural blueprint, your what. And design sprints, well, that's your high-speed engine for getting things done and testing them. That's your how.
So just remember, creating a truly great user experience isn't magic. It's a discipline. It's built with the right mindset so you stay focused on people, a clear blueprint to guide you as you build, and a focused race to prove your ideas actually work in the real world.
So I'll leave you with this little challenge. Think about an app or a product that just drives you crazy. Using these lenses we've talked about today, the mindset, the blueprint, and the race, can you figure out exactly where it went wrong? If you can do that, you're already starting to think like a designer.